Alrighty folks, this is Alan recording another comprehensive Magic the Gathering Arena draft video. It's been a long time and I'm still trying to grind some gems, and hopefully I don't do any more Kaldis Remastered because again I've been getting my butt kicked. So maybe the next time I get 1500 gems, um, I'll just do another Zendikar Rising Premier draft. But for now, with 5k gold, I think it's time for us to investigate on another previous draft set that we've done multiple times, and that has to be the quick draft Ikoria Lair of Behemoths. And given that this is a bot draft, we should have enough time to kind of go over the set and see where we end up. But yeah, the set is controversial now, simply because not only were the companions incredibly busted when the set started out, but cycling was also very overpowered. And now with the companion nerf, where you have to pay 3 generic to put the companion into your hand, it's definitely not worth building around companions in this set anymore for limited. It's better off to just kind of, if you can, force the cycling deck as much as possible. But yeah, there's a lot of great archetypes if it wasn't for the cycling decks. I have to say the problem with cycling is that there's just so much powerful payoffs at common. It's very easy to enable and build, and doesn't require too much work compared to other archetypes where they need essential cards. Like, for example, if you go Black-Green Reanimator, you would need a card like Unbroken Bond, Back for More, and the Giant Sandworms to cycle. Also, I guess even the sacrifice decks, you do want kind of like a weaponized monsters to overperform and have the most optimal sacrifice deck. But yeah, the mutate deck's also kind of, underpowered to the fact that you can get 2 for 1 when you mutate. Yeah, so I think cycling is kind of where this set is where you kind of want to lean towards in this set, definitely. And yeah, every single Ikoria video, I think, other than maybe like 1 or 2, are nothing but cycling. So hopefully maybe I end up drafting something else new this time. So we'll see. I thought this set had a lot of potential, but the Zenith Flare kind of ruined it. Other cards like Snare Tactician, Prickly Marmoset, Rippling Reflection, Flourishing Fox were, so overpowered that it wasn't even worth considering the other archetypes. But yeah, maybe if we open up like a bomb, like, I don't know, Nethroi, Apex of Death, we can draft some sort of Abzan mutate deck. So we'll give it a spin and see where we end up. And pack 1, pick 1, bot draft, quick draft, Ikoria Lair of the Behemoths. What do you have the fine pleasure of opening? Not a bad rare, the Slither Wisp. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the allied colors don't have too much support at common, and they don't have too much other payoffs at uncommon, the blue-black flash deck is a little bit difficult to build. But this is definitely a powerful rare if you can play a bunch of flash creatures and flash spells, and this is on the battlefield. Unfortunately, with 2 toughness, it can easily get answered by cards like Deadweights. It can die to a Fire Prophecy. So I don't. Even though like the blue-black flash deck is definitely possible to build, the fact that it revolves around like Slither Wisp staying alive can be kind of detrimental, because if Slither Wisp doesn't stay alive, the rest of your other deck will just fall apart, because cards like Cunning Nightbonder aren't super amazing. Like, sure, you can have like a bunch of counter spells and cards like Capture Sphere, but overall there's not too many payoffs for amazing payoffs for flashing in stuff other than Slither Wisp. And then I guess there's the Cunning Nightbonder, which does give you your flash spells 1 generic less, but other than that, there's not too much amazing payoffs. Unlike cards like Snare Tactician, however, this card's at common, and there's a lot of cycling payoffs and enablers in this set. Like, sure, there's a lot of flash spells that can enable flash abilities to trigger, but again, there's just not too many payoffs for rewarding you for playing too much flash, other than keeping your Slither Wisp alive, which is definitely difficult to do. So yeah, I think pack 1, pick 1. I think it's the Snare Tactician, by far the best common in this pack. There's also Exuberant Wolf Bear. If you do play a combination of like humans, such as the Naturalist and maybe some other mentors, the Exuberant Wolf Bear can definitely be really powerful, especially if it can turn one of those humans into a 4/4, and this can you can have 8 power and toughness on the battlefield while attacking, and that can be quite strong. There's also Essence Symbiote for the Mutate deck. But yeah, so I think it's Snare Tactician, and if the Snare Tactician wasn't in this pack, I would probably lean towards the Exuberant Wolfbear over the Slither Wisp, because again, I don't think there's too many payoffs. I don't believe there are. I mean, I'm pretty sure there aren't too many payoffs for Flash, other amazing payoffs that is, other than Slither Wisp. Whereas a card like Exuberant Wolfbear, you can have a couple humans, and this can be great, and there's like cards like One Mind that rewards you with humans, and the Mentors also improve your non-human creatures, and Snare Tactician is just very easy to enable. Cycling is incredibly busted in this set, I've said multiple times, so yeah, we'll take a Snare Tactician and see if we do end up forcing a cycling deck. And cycling is mostly around the Jeskai colors, keep that in mind. So we do now have an interesting option. I did say cycling was in the Jeskai colors. We could take an Omniseas as an excellent cycling payoff card as well. It's mostly going to be at its best in the red-blue spells deck, where you not only do you have cyclers, but you do have card draw engines like One Mind, Fire Prophecy, and maybe whatchamacallit, the 6 mana draw form, gift Boon of the Wish Giver. So this is better off in blue-red cycling, but it's definitely possible to go like white-blue cycling with the Omniseas, but Omniseas is more of a late game sort of card, where Snare Tactician is better off in the red-white cycling deck. So yeah, I think the only best 2 cards here are like Fire Prophecy and Omniseas. To a lesser extent, if we were sticking with green, if we first picked the Exuberant Wolfbear, we'd probably be looking at either Migration Path or Ivy Elemental. But that being said, given that we took Snare Tactician, I think it's just between Fire Prophecy and Omniseas. Drannith Healer could also be consideration, but I wouldn't take it over Fire Prophecy here. Even if this doesn't cycle or enable cycling, it's just one of the best commons in the set, along with Blood Curdle. 3 damage at instant speed, and then being able to bottom a land in the late game can be really nice to improve your chances of petting playables in the late game. So yeah, I think after taking Snare Tactician, I think it makes sense to just kind of lean towards red-white cycling, since it's considered the best archetype, and I don't mind just taking Fire Prophecy. Otherwise, Omniseas and Snare Tactician could theoretically fit together in the same deck, but generally speaking, blue-white cycling isn't as good as blue-red-white cycling, and Omniseas rather is better off in red-blue spells for the most part, with some cycling to enable this. Where Snare Tactician wants to be in a much more aggressive game plan, where you're looking to play lots of creatures on the battlefield, tap things down, and attack. Omniseas is trying to make it into the late game and make a bunch of 8/8 Kraken tokens. So I think the Fire Prophecy is correct here, and we'll just lean towards red-white cycling, and yeah, we'll take it here. Seems pretty excellent. And do we get rewarded? There is a Drannith Stinger, Pacifism, Porcuparrot for the red mutate decks, Skull Prophet for the black-green reanimator deck. Yeah, I guess we're sticking this to cycling. And between Pacifism and Drannith Stinger, I think it's more important to pick up multiple Drannith Stingers in the cycling deck. Not only are they 1-mana cyclers, but it's also a pretty powerful 2-drop to play onto, and then the more you can cycle, the more you can just ping the opponent to death. And if you have like at least 2 or more copies of Drannith Stingers on the battlefield, and you continually cycle, you can easily just close out the game. So I feel like as a Drannith Stinger over to Pacifism here. Pacifism would be nice later if we can pick one up, but right now Snare Tactician can count as kind of like pseudo removal. Fire Prophecy is obviously a removal spell, so it's not like we are lacking removal, and I'd rather just have another nice payoff and enabler for cycling. So had we taken the Omniseas, I think we'd still be looking at this Drannith Stinger as a nice 1-mana, 2-mana 2/2 that rewards you with cycling, and can also cycle for 1. Gust of Wind can also be decent if you have enough flyers to make this cost cheap, and it still draws you and nets you a card. So we'll take a Drannith Stinger here, and hopefully we can just force red-white cycling again like we did a million times, and probably just going to take another Drannith Stinger here. Sanctuary Smasher is a little bit too expensive to cycle, and 6 mana is not where you want to be to play a single spell in a red-white cycling deck. It's mostly going to be very low to the ground, aggressive, and you're just looking to deal as much damage right away. Like, Yeah, sure, you can play this as a 6-mana 6/4, and it's definitely a decent threat, but it's kind of clunky at 6, and it's kind of slow. And 3 mana just to cycle a creature and give first strike is not where we want, since a card like Prickly Marmoset, which is a 3 mana 2/3 that gets +2/+0 whenever you cycle a card, already has first strike, so it's kind of redundant. So yeah, easy Draft Stinger. If Draft Stinger wasn't in this pack, probably would consider the Draft Healer as another card that we can cycle or play for 2, but Draft Stinger, a second Stinger, definitely looks awesome, so we're definitely going to do the whole cycling shenanigans here. And between Raking Claw and Coordinated Charge, both of these are kind of close for cycling. None of these cards I find particularly amazing. And which one do we prefer? I mean, they both have their upsides. I mean, I think I would rather take the Raking Claws because you can at least cast it for 2 mana. There's a rule of thumb that says, when in doubt, just take the cheaper card, because you, if you end up in the game where you're kind of mana screwed, you rather just have more cheaper cards to play, and you have a higher percentage of like winning over a clunky 5 mana card that you might not often play unless you get to 5. So yeah, I think I'll take the Raking Claws here. Hopefully we can pick up a Coordinated Charge later. And I do like these on-color cyclers, even if they are too generic to cast, since they can be castable and they can help close out the game sometimes. You never know when you'll catch your opponent off guard. We'll take a Raking Claws here. And I am a big fan of the Spell Eater Wolverines, even in the cycling deck. Blade Banish is kind of situational and clunky. I mean, there's a chance we could still end up in like blue-red spells / cycling, and a Spell Eater Wolverine is still great. I mean, I do like it in the red-white cycling decks, but hopefully we can pick up more instances and sorceries to cycle later. So yeah, I don't mind just taking it here, and then we could end up with blue-red cycling or red-white cycling, depending on what's open. But that's a late Pyroceratops, so there's a chance we do end up in blue-red. And yeah, there's no amazing cards. There's a Hampering Snare, but it's 2 mana to cycle. There is the Weaponize the Monsters, which the bots kind of definitely this should not be that late. This card is pretty excellent in the Mardu Sacrifice decks, but I don't think we're set up for a cycling for a Sacrifice deck. Definitely one of the necessary uncommons to make your Sacrifice deck work. That being said, I think I'm going to take a Pyroceratops to speculate on blue-red spells, since white did not look particularly open other than that one pack with the 1 pacifism. Fire Prophecy was passed to us. Raking Claws was, again, still a fine card. But yeah, a nice late Pyroceratops, and this card can be pretty good if we do end up in blue-red spells / cycling. So might have missed out on potentially a Ominous Seize, but Fire Prophecy is still great, so don't have to feel too bad if we do end up in blue-red. Now, Oath of One Mind and Channel Force. If we had taken the Ominous Seize, Channel Force would have been pretty excellent. That being said, it's still a fine card, but I'm not too amazed with it. Now, with Double Draft Stinger and some non-humans, I do like Oath of One Mind, which is great. Can be cast for 1 mana, and that's excellent. Or I can just take a Swiftwater Cliffs. Maybe that's even better. I just need to improve my mana base. And hopefully we can get an Oath of One Mind later, because dual lands are definitely a little bit difficult to get later, and this just having the ability to improve our mana base is very powerful. So yeah, I'll skip out on the Oath of One Mind, but hopefully I can pick up one later. But the Swiftwater Cliffs seems a lot more unique and necessary if we do end up in blue-red cycling / spells. And yeah, in case we still end up in red-white cycling, I don't mind a Cathartic Reunion, and even in blue-red spells, it's a pretty decent 2 mana card. Just discarding 2 cards and then drawing 3 is kind of like a nice one of. And then there's another late Pyroceratops, but I don't need to prioritize it now. Also, there's a Dismal Backwater if we want to splash for cards like Blood Curdle, but I'll take a Cathartic Reunion here. And yeah, if we still end up in blue-red spells, I guess I don't mind a Keepsake for the sideboard. This is a nice card for the black-red Sacrifice deck, which I don't think we're going to be, since we don't have a lot of sack fodder. Late Almighty Brushwag, pretty good in the green Mutate decks, but again, we're nowhere near mutating, so I'll take a Keepsake for now. And another nice late Raking Claws. I don't mind just cycling away. And yeah, it could just be that blue-red spells is a lot more open than red-white cycling from the looks of it. So yeah, maybe we just end up hopefully picking up some. Does this even matter? I don't think it matters. Picking up some maybe Sprite Dragons or Lord Dracus or red-blue removal spells in the next pack. We'll see. but there's still a chance we still end up in red-white cycling. And now this pack is pretty crazy. There's another Snare Tactician for red-white. If we want to stick with red, there's a Lava Serpent, but overall, I don't think it's as powerful as cards like Sea Dasher Octopus Omniseas and the Snare Tactician. So we kind of have to make a decision point. Do we want to still end up in blue-red spells, or do we want to end up still in red-white cycling? And in the first pack, I did state that white didn't seem particularly open. There were 2 Pyroceratops being passed late, also a Spell Eater Wolverine pretty late. So I can kind of hedge my bets that blue-red spells is where we want to be. Now between Sea Dasher Octopus and Omniseas, which one do we prefer? Sea Dasher Octopus is better if we're more aggressive, if we're more of like a tempo-oriented blue-red spells deck. Which, I mean, we could be, but most of our creatures don't have too much evasion, and Double Drannith Stinger is also human, so Sea Dasher Octopus can be a bit of a nombo. However, the Omniseas can be quite powerful. I mean, we do have a nice setup for it, a decent amount of cycling cards. Fire Prophecy can draw us some cards. Cathartic Reunion can draw us a bunch of cards. So I don't mind just gambling on the Omniseas here, and then mostly focusing on the blue-red spells deck over the red-white cycling deck. And yeah, we can still have a couple other nice, neat red cycling payoff cards in a deck like this. So cards like Prickly Marmoset are still okay. More Drannith Stingers are still okay. Even Reptilian Reflection. And hopefully, if the bots don't respect Channel Force, we can pick up one later, and it can be kind of broken with these Omniseas. So yeah, we'll take an Omniseas here, and then yeah, hopefully we can make this blue-red cycling deck work. Splendor Mare is quite powerful, even in red-white cycling. Just cycling away, gaining us a bit of life could be great, but now we do have a pretty nice pack. There's a Gust of Wind. We don't have any flyers, but it does net us a card when we bounce something. Decent synergy with the Omniseas, or I can just take a Rumbling Rock Slide. Maybe this is just a good removal spell in their blue-red spells deck. Trumping Gnar also great. Lava Serpent, hopefully we can pick up one later, since it's quite versatile. You can either cycle this for 2 mana, or play this out as like a 5/5 haste, which can catch an opponent off guard. But I think the Rumbling Rock Slide is just too important here. Keeps us in red. Still playable in the blue-red-white cycling deck. Although in red-white, I'd prefer having the Splendor Mare. But for now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be in blue-red spells or red-white cycling. And then, so therefore, it's better to just take the much more liberal option. Conservative, liberal, I don't know. More conservative option, I think that would make more sense. Not trying to get politics involved here. And just take the Rumbling Rock Slide and see where we end up. Pretty late pacifism, but I do like me another Drannith Stinger. I mean, pretty excellent. Or I can take the pacifism. But yeah, I think we should have enough removal. Even in the red-white cycling deck, I don't mind just taking another Drannith Stinger. Keeps us on color. And again, pretty excellent if we do end up in red-white cycling or blue-red spells. Just having multiple of these can just end the game quickly, so you don't need to rely on the pacifism locking through a creature and getting in a lot of attacks in. So I'll take a Drannith Stinger here. And then Archipelago is quite nice, but I don't know for that type of mutate deck that's looking to play lots of large creatures. I do like the Dreamtail Heron, I mean, but however, we aren't a mutate deck. There's also Cloud Piercer, which I think I would prefer Dreamtail Heron, since giving flying is a lot more important over making a giant reach creature. And this is quite nice, especially if you can mutate onto a Spell Eater Wolverine. This can become like a 3/4 first striker. I mean, double striker, I mean. Or if you mutate onto the Pyroceratops, this can grow really large and be quite nice. Archipelago is excellent, of course, but it's better off if you're more like focusing on nothing more than mutating. And we don't have too much mutate going on. And Cloud Piercer, again, I think is a little bit worse than the Dreamtail Heron. Dreamtail Heron just gives flying and a nice mutate creature that nets us a card, so don't mind it here. Wouldn't mind a Facet Reader in the future just to enable the Omniseas, so we'll take the Dreamtail Heron. And then our Spell Eater Wolverine's perfect. Again, don't sleep on this card. This card is incredibly powerful in the blue-red spells deck. Although we could use some more instances and sorceries in this deck, but I'll take it for now. And then, okay, Capture Sphere, Starling Development, another Dreamtail Heron, Glimmerbell. Don't think we're a Glimmerbell deck, even though we do a Dreamtail Heron. I already have a Dreamtail Heron. I mean, this is just a 1-mana cycler. I don't really care too much about it. Unfortunately, Capture Sphere doesn't have great synergy with the Spell Eater Wolverine, but it's still a decent, fine, like, removal spell. And then, hopefully we can pick up more 1-mana cyclers later. In terms of removal, we do have Fire Prophecy and the Rumbling Rock Slide. We could use another good removal spell. It's not instant or sorcery though, so I'm kind of I might not want this in a deck like this. Maybe it's better to just take the Starling Develop anyways, or just take another Pyroceratops on turn 4. Because like it's not like we are desperate for interaction with both Fire Prophecy and Rumbling Rocks. Like, so maybe we don't need the Capture Sphere. This is better in a deck that's not focusing on instants and sorceries. It can trigger the Pyroceratops, but we don't care. So between Starling Development and the Pyroceratops, this is another payoff, but maybe we can pick up one later. I do want maybe like a Starling Development here, just a nice, cheap, efficient instant and sorcery that we can cast, and we can also cycle it for 1 mana, so it seems great. And then there's a Blazing Volley. I guess there's a Phase Dolphin. None of these really matter. Maybe end up splashing black. Who knows? Take the Bloodfell Caves. And then Forbidden Friendship is quite nice in the blue-red spells deck, even though I wouldn't mind a Facet Reader. Just have this. This can be quite nice to enable Wolverine and Pyroceratops. It's a way to generate a non-human creature for our Dreamtail Herons to mutate onto. I think they're much more important than the Facet Reader, since I don't really think we're like desperate drawing cards currently. And yeah, I could take a Rogren Crystal, could even cycle it, could even splash white for it if we're looking to ramp. Don't hate it. And then now, I mean, we could still splash a Tranquil Cove. There's also another Facet Reader, but again, I don't really care too much about it. How is it? Are we going to end up splashing white? Don't know. We do have a copy of Snare Tactician that we could splash for, but honestly, maybe we just want the Hampering Snare as a fine 2-mana cycler, although it's for 2 mana, it's not amazing. So I'll try the Tranquil Cove. There's a chance we end up splashing white. We'll see. Now with the Rogren Crystal, and I do love myself a Thieving Otter, especially excellent with the Dreamtail Heron. If we have a lot of removal to clear a path, this can be quite nice, and take a Gremlin in case we need one, but I highly doubt it. And then I'll just take the dual land, because why not? And yeah, okay, so the deck does need some work. We need a lot more interaction. For instance, in sorcery-based interaction, maybe another Pyroceratops would be great. Some more 1-mana cyclers would be excellent for this Omniseas, we'll see. But yeah, again, white did seem very cut off, and yeah, Mythos of Aluna is quite powerful. We might not be able to splash for the green portion, but it's just another sorcery that can just copy a powerful permanent that we owned. I mean, you can just copy the opponent's bomb as well, and this is great. Alternatively, Farfinder can maybe help us splash. Wouldn't mind another copy of Pyroceratops, but not going to take it over Mythos of Aluna. This card is excellent. There's an Archipelago, but I don't mind an Of-1 Mine here, given that a triple Dranav Stinger and also Forbidden Friendship. It seems like this is what the deck wants. The Archipelago could be another fine finisher, but again, we're not really a deck that's looking to mutate too much, whereas the Of-1 Mine can not only draw us cards, but it can have a really nice discount for a deck like this, so I don't hate it. And then again, I don't think we're mutating with the Baby Godzilla. Could consider the Lava Serpent. I could use a nice top-end finisher that we can also cycle away. The Forbidden Friendship also could be solid again, but better if we had more ways to mutate onto it. I could also consider the Archipelago maybe, but I think the Lava Serpent has a lot more synergy, being able to not only cycle, but also a decent body that can start attacking in the late game, so I don't hate it. And could take a Frostlynx, could take a Cloud Piercer, but again, we're not mutating that much. We only have Forbidden Friendship to mutate onto. I don't want to 2-for-1 myself by mutating on the rest of my non-creature spells, so hopefully I can maybe take this Frostlynx, and then if we do pick up another mutate creature, that's great. It makes things better, and I'll take another Lava Serpent over to Winged Terron. Seems pretty perfect in a deck like this. And yeah, I'll just take another Spell Eater Wolverine. I'll just take as many as I can. Definitely excellent in the red-blue spells deck. And Gust of Wind could be quite nice. I am lacking interaction currently, and this does draw me a card. Alternatively, Frostveil Ambush doesn't seem that bad maybe, since we can also just cycle it for 1 mana. It can tap 2 things down. I don't have too many flyers to go along with my Gust of Wind, so Frostveil Ambush could be better. And then I'll just take as many Of-1 Mines, or I just take another Pyroceratops, which we might need. In terms of ways to close out the game, I'm definitely going to take this over Momentum Rumbler for sure. Instances and Sorceries, 5 and 5. Double Lava Serpent that we could cycle or attack with. The Spell Eater Wolverines are definitely going to be fantastic in this deck. Given that I already have Cathartic Reunion and the of 1 mine, I don't mind just taking another Paraceratops. Could use another decent 4-drop that can help me close out the game. And could take a Shred Sails. Since we have double Paraceratops already, I don't know if we need a third one. Could take another Thieving Otter, but again, I don't think we're that type of tempo-oriented deck. I think I'll take a Shred Sails. And we have a lot at 3 already, so I don't really see a reason to deviate or take anything else. Alright, this deck looks pretty decent. It's not insanely broken or busted, but it's quite solid. It's not often that we're going to get... We might not get Omnises on a turn 2 early, but you can still cycle it, so I don't hate it. So it's kind of a mix between, like, aggression and control, although it's most likely going to just be a curve-out deck for the most part. So looking at these, so I guess we have three cuts to make. Let's see, I do like the 1-mana Starling Development. Cathartic Reunion can be nice even with 16 lands. I do like the double Dran of Stingers. Fire Prophecy is excellent. Forbidden Friendship I don't mind a copy of. Raking Claws don't mind a copy of. Same with Shred Sails. Frostlinks I can take it or leave it. Of 1 mine is great. Thieving Otter, as long as we can clear path for it, it can be pretty good. If we can't, then it could just suck. The Rogran Crystal also could be cuttable, I guess. It does help us ramp into our late game Lava Serpents, but I don't know if we really need it. The Dreamtail Heron can mutate on 4, or I can just cut the Heron. Like, what are we mutating the Heron onto? A Forbidden Friendship token? Thieving Otter, maybe a Spell Eater Wolverine. It doesn't seem that great. I think I can ditch the Heron. But maybe we don't want to cut any more creatures in this type of deck. So I could see myself cutting the Rogran Crystal as not an instant or sorcery, even if we cycle it. I'm not really looking to ramp, since our curve is not looking that great. And I can even consider cutting some lands. I guess we can also follow the general rule of thumb for the red-white cycling deck. For every 3-mana, 1-mana cycler, you don't mind just cutting a land. And okay, so this is... I guess this is... I mean, I guess we can even cut 2 lands and just go something like this, since for the most part we will be cycling a lot. So then I can maybe introduce the Dreamtail Heron back into the deck, and go like 15 lands plus Driftbolt Dran of Stinger. Not sure. Maybe it's still a little bit risky, and I just need to go 17. Because a Dreamtail Heron is fine, but it's not going to be great unless you can mutate onto something. And I'm not even sure if I even care about mutating on the Frostlings, to be honest. It's definitely good with Forbidden Friendship and Thieving Otter, but overall, we don't have that much. It's still a decent consideration, however. But I do want as many instances and sorceries in this deck to enable the Spell Eater Wolverines. Again, how much do we have? 6 and 5, so like 11. Maybe we just need to play 16 lands, and then hopefully we can find like our Cathartic Reunion to discard them. I mean, our curve is not really high. We can also just cycle the Lava Serpent, so maybe we just need the extra top end with the Dreamtail Heron. In case we can't close out with the Lava Serpent, I don't mind just a random 5-mana 3/4 flyer. Keep Safe could also be reasonable, but I don't really... other than... I mean, but I'm not really like a deck that's looking to protect... I mean, I guess Keep Safe can be pretty nice with the... Omnises to keep up, so that can be a decent consideration. Dreamtail Heron can enable flying, but might not be necessary. Yeah, I guess I don't mind to keep safe, but I don't know. The Dreamtail Heron could be quite nice. Maybe we just need some way. Maybe there comes a point where we do just want to mutate onto a creature and just attack in the air and win the game, or just have an extra flyer. Since we are kind of lacking on creatures, so we could go like 15 lands plus something like this, and it's fine cutting 2 lands because we do have a bunch of cyclers that we don't mind just cycling away. And even if we don't get to land 6, the Lava Serpents we can still cycle for 2 mana. So let's try this deck out. It doesn't seem bad. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's a stupid pun, but we're just going to leave it like that. And then the mana base, slightly favoring red more, so, I mean, I guess I could just cut an island. I mean, even if we don't, like, cast our blue spells, we can still cycle them away. It seems like we have a lot more red, so I could consider cutting an island and just tossing in a mountain. And this is like, I guess, 9-7, so we do have 7 blue sources regardless with what we have. So yeah, seems okay. We'll try it out. I could even ditch a Raking Claws maybe, since it can be kind of yeah, I could ditch the Raking Claws actually. Like, sure, we can cycle it for 2 mana, but with triple Spell Eater Wolverine, it could be redundant, and then I can make the argument of having a keepsake in the deck to kind of protect my other Spell Eater Wolverines or Dreamtail Heron, etc. So yeah, it could just be redundant, having the double Raking Claws in a deck like this. Alright, seems fine. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, something like this seems fine. And hopefully, it works. But yeah, red-white cycling was definitely cut off this draft. Blue-red cycling spells also seemed a little bit cut off, but also kind of open, so I don't actually hate it. We'll just see. Sometimes it's just the luck of the packs. And yeah, turn 2 Draft Stinger can be nice into Spell Eater Wolverine, so I'll keep. Can even dump 2 Draft Stingers and start cycling away. I could also just cycle the first one, which could be quite reasonable, but don't see a reason to unless... I mean, I'll be curving out 2-drop and 3-drop. Maybe the Spell Eater Wolverines can help me close out the game, and I don't need too many cyclers, so could just cycle 1 Draft Stinger, and then... Okay, I guess we could eventually cycle 2. Yeah, I'll just play this one out. And then we can play the Spell Eater Wolverine, and then eventually start maybe powering them up by cycling instances and sorceries away. Could even cycle the other Dranav Stinger. Fertilid is alright. Don't think I need to kill it. Just want to develop the board with our Spell Eater Wolverines. I actually don't mind trading 2, since this does block my Spell Eater Wolverine, and I don't really have too many cycling cards in my hand. So getting in for 2 is nice, and then we can just develop the Spell Eater Wolverine. And then we can just keep beating down this Dranav Stinger if they want to keep this Fertilid back on defense. So Mysterious Egg to mutate onto, sure. The Moscow Goryak is a bit annoying. So I could just mutate onto maybe this the Spell Eater Wolverine. And just attack for 3 in the air. And hopefully he doesn't have removal. He could have a Blood Curdle. The problem is that the 3-2 just doesn't get in the profitable attack against the Moscow Goryak. Yeah, I don't hate just mutating here. Hopefully I'll probably get 2 for 1, but I think it's fine getting in for 3 for now. And then we can eventually just discard this land with the Fire Prophecy. Could just cycle away 1 Dranav Stinger, because I don't think the game plan now... I mean, I guess maybe the second Dranav Stinger can be nice to start pinging the opponent as maybe a secondary win condition. But I'm hoping the opponent just doesn't gain a million life out of nowhere. But he's definitely going to start being aggressive here. Could also just trade for the Fertilid, but he's probably going to keep that back on defense. No reason to block. Shredded Sails, we could cycle. Could just kill the Fertilid. Maybe I rather just build the board up for now. And then, yeah, I don't mind having a second Draft Stinger to maybe cycle. And then we'll play another Spell Eater Wolverine and attack for 3 in the air. And say go. And hopefully we can, like, we can dump the Fire Prophecy and Shred Sails next turn. And start, giving this double strike. Moscow is really annoying though, not gonna lie. Glowstone Recluse is also very annoying. Yeah, unfortunately, Shred Sails doesn't deal with this, so we probably need to find a way around this. Maybe I'm fine with him attacking, and then we'll just pass. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't deal with this, so maybe just need to cycle the Shred Sails and deal some, since it doesn't seem like it's going to be good in this matchup. And Mythos of Aluna is great. I guess I don't mind just copying the Glowstone Recluse. And then, yeah, it seems quite great. We can copy the Glowstone Recluse here, or maybe we can save it. Maybe it's better to just play another Spell Eater Wolverine and then pass the turn, and then next turn we can set up like a Fire Prophecy plus Mythos and attack. Um, or maybe I can just copy it anyways as a good ground blocker. Yeah, I'll copy it. I guess it's a 4-5, so maybe that wasn't correct. Not sure if that was correct, probably not. But next turn I can start enabling double strike. But yeah, maybe my game plan now is just to cycle and deal enough damage to the opponent's face. Maybe I can find like a land plus Fire Prophecy to take out this Glowstone Recluse, because it's definitely going to be a nuisance in this matchup. Trumping Gnar, okay, so he's definitely going to play the board stall game plan, where he's just looking to gum up the ground. Now Raking Claws isn't bad, although we do have double strike already. So I could attack with both of these, and then maybe Fire Prophecy or something. He's definitely going to block the Dreamtail Heron if I try anything here. So I think it's fine attacking with both of these, kind of, and then we can Fire Prophecy whatever he decides to block. We can also cycle Raking Claws to give this double strike or use it on the 4-4. So he's going to go for this instead. I think I'd rather just kill the Moscow Goryak. Okay, so I don't mind this, so I can give Raking Claws to the Glowstone Recluse. Yeah, I'll leave it like this because I want to kill it first. And for this, yeah, well, we'll order the Beast first, definitely. Or the Mosscoat. No, we'll order the Beast, not make it too complicated, and then now I can use Raking Claws on this 4-5. And then I guess I'll let first strike damage happen first. And then I can also just Fire Prophecy this away. Or Fire Prophecy the Moscow Goryak. Maybe the Recluse is better to just take out and then keep the 4-5 on the battlefield. Yeah, we'll ditch the Spider Wolverine. Don't want to cycle here. Maybe we can cycle end of turn or keep this as a combat trick. Yeah, we'll just say go. We'll keep the Frostville Ambush as a combat trick. I mean, not a combat trick, as a way to tap two things down and maybe get an attack next turn. But now the Glowstone Recluse is gone and I can start attacking for 6 in the air. So it's not that bad. You could have like Mutual Destruction here though, that can be quite annoying too. Yeah, probably see a Mutual Destruction. Cavern Whisper, okay, I guess I don't mind cycling now. And hopefully he doesn't discard anything too relevant. I mean, that's kind of relevant, I hate to say it. I thought I could cycle, get a land or something, but this is okay. And then Keep Safe can help me protect my Dreamtail Heron. So yeah, I guess we have this. If he tries to use a removal spell, we'll just use a Keep Safe. And yeah, Dreamtail Heron helps me close out the game this game, so that's not bad. And then if he tries to kill, again, we'll just use Keep Safe to protect. But this opponent is lacking a lot of removal in this deck, so good. Yeah, so we got him. Black-green mutates, but without too much removal. Didn't see any Blood Curdles or Ram Throughs or Charge of the Forever Beast or Mutual Destructions. So Dreamtail Heron actually did a lot of work in that match, just being able to fly over and get in for some kills. So I don't actually hate it, and we'll keep playing. Opening hand, could cycle the Frostville Ambush away. I mean, we have both our colors, so I don't hate it, so I'll try it. And then I can just leave the Swiftwater Cliffs and even cycle the Raking Claws, I guess. That would make more sense. Or I can just keep up mana to maybe hit a 2-drop, but I think we'll leave the Swiftwater Cliffs for now, and hopefully we can start curving out. Opponents in blue-green mutate, so a card like the Shredded Sails can be quite nice. I think I'll just pass a turn. End of turn, I can cycle maybe the Raking Claws, since we do have all the Spell Eater Wolverines in the deck already. So Baby Godzilla is pretty strong, so I'm hoping I can kill that. But for now, we'll just cycle the Raking Claws. Round of Stinger seems okay, so now we can... I can even keep up the Starling development eventually with the Dranav Stinger. I don't actually hate just playing a Dranav Stinger. I mean, he could just pump the Almighty Brushwag as well, so that's kind of annoying. Wish I can get this out earlier. Maybe it's not necessary anymore. Like, what's one damage going to do? It doesn't even work well, the Dreamtail Heron, so maybe I just cycle it and hopefully find something better. Revenge Friendship isn't bad, so next turn we can mutate onto it with the Dreamtail Heron. But for now, we'll say go, and hopefully we don't get punished here. But the opponent definitely had a pretty decent curve. 2-drop, 3-drop into... Okay, I could just block the Brushwag, which I think is correct. Still costs 3 to pump, but I'm fine baiting out a removal spell. And that's definitely a really good trade here, because the Brushwag can be pretty scary. So I could mutate the Dreamtail Heron, but I feel like he could have a Convolute up, so it's probably better to just play out maybe the Spell Eater Wolverine and then cycle the Starling development end of turn. He can untap the Glimmer Bell, so there's no reason for me to attack. And even if he untapped it and I use a Starling development, I don't think that's a great trade, because I'd rather maybe just cycle this away. Next turn, the Spell Eater Wolverine can attack for 6. Could see a mutate reconnaissance mission. Okay, so he's going to start drawing cards off of this. Unfortunately, Frostfell Ambush isn't going to do much against this opponent, since he can just start tapping things down. So maybe we just... I guess I'll cycle the Starling development here, and then hopefully we can close out the game by just attacking the opponent. I can mutate the Dreamtail Heron and attack in for 6, but I won't have protection. I can play it slow with the Pyroceratops. I think the Dreamtail Heron mutating is fine. I can maybe keep this back to hold off the 1-3, and then we can attack for 6 only, and that's fine. 6 is a lot. And then this Dreamtail Heron on defense can hold off the Glimmer Bell so he doesn't draw a million cards off of it. Could see a mutate on the Baby Godzilla. Auspicious Sterix is quite strong. The problem is that now he can still untap it with the stupid trick, so we might have to just close out the game quickly instead of trying to. I guess he's just gonna cast it. Yeah, I guess he doesn't have enough mana to cast it. So now what can happen is we could just Mythos it or Frostlinks. Frostlinks is great, and then maybe we can keep up the keep safe and then maybe cycle end of turn, so I don't hate this. And then we can attack in for another 6. And next turn we can even consider attacking the Dreamtail Heron just to get in for a lot of damage, but keep safe is quite nice now. Farfinder to find his lands. The Farfinder can chump the Lava Serpent, so that's not great. But I can potentially maybe just use the Frostfell Ambush on the Baby Godzilla and Farfinder and then just attack. And then that will be lethal and he's forced to chump, so I think I'll say go. Fine, maybe playing out land here, and then... Yeah, I think we go for it here. It's just too good. Hopefully there's no counterspell. Convolute would be pretty annoying, but this is nice. And then he's forced to chump, so I might as well attack with all. Yeah, I'll attack with all, because if he's far back behind, and even if he gets to... probably has an interaction spell here. I guess a ram through, that's pretty annoying. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. Yeah, so I guess he'll be drawing some cards this turn. And then he can still untap the Glimmer Bell. So, it was better off to maybe just attack and then keep up the keep safe. But now he can just draw for interaction and whatnot. And I'm kind of in a bad position unless I can maybe just steal the game. Bristling Boar I don't care about too much. Thieving Otter I also don't care about too much. So he can't untap. I can attack in for... how much? I guess I can play out the Lava Serpent and then he can block. Or I can just play out the Paraceratops or just Mythos. Mythos on Sterix can be okay, or Mythos onto Dreamtail Heron can be alright. And then we can still chump to 6/6 and then still have some good blocks. But I definitely want to attack for 3 this turn. So maybe that's fine. Want to cast Mythos on... yeah, this is hard. Yeah, I'll just Mythos on the Dreamtail Heron so I can just keep up the keep safe. Oh, I guess this has haste. Wondering how the hell he got haste. That's funny. How the hell did it have haste? Oh, I guess the token had haste. Oh, okay, so that was the right call. So I gotta keep in mind the token had haste, so I didn't realize that, but now I can remember it. But yeah, Dreamtail Heron's still this other game, so definitely main deckable in a deck like this, and we'll keep playing. Didn't really expect the 1/1 token with haste to be relevant, but it sure was. Didn't even realize it, of course. So I guess I'm not that pro at Magic. But anyways, yeah, we can cycle away the 1-mana cycler, play Forbidden Friendship, doesn't seem bad. You have Mythos to copy our Spell Eater Wolverine if necessary. Have both our colors. So yeah, running 15 lands in the deck is still quite operational. Next turn we can play the Forbidden Friendship and then start beating down, and then we'll eventually have 3 instances and sorceries in the graveyard to get in a bunch of double strikers in. Frostlings can act as a nice tap creature. Boot Nipper, I don't mind just trading for this, to be honest. I mean, I think the game plan is to develop the Spell Eater Wolverine, but I'm fine attacking with the Beast here. Like, I don't even care about the Mutate. Keeping the 1/1 back, and then if he decides to kill my 1/1 token, I can still, like, take it and then hit back for 6 next turn. Wow, even better. Well, Omnis Seas, I think I need to get started right away, so I don't mind just playing it. The earlier I get it, the better. I mean, Spell Eater Wolverine would have also been amazing, but I'm also fine just attacking for 1 still here. Probably don't need to be aware of any tokens or anything, so this is fine. Eventually I can start generating some 8/8s from this Omnis Seas. Opponent cycles a Lava Serpent, so could see an Unbreakable Bond reanimating this on turn 5, which is definitely a reasonable card in decks like this. Savai Sabertooth, okay. Could just tap this down or just keep this back. I could just attack for 3. Maybe he wants to prompt a Starling development. Not sure. Or maybe just play out the second Spell Eater Wolverine and then pass the turn. Don't really see a reason to attack here because he could clear Wolverine. I need both my 1 toughness creatures to hold off the Boot Nipper and the Savai Sabertooth. He could also have Snapdax in this deck. That's the reason why he's playing weird cards like Savai Sabertooth, which aren't necessarily too fantastic. Land would be great, but now I don't mind just attacking, and I can even cycle the Shred Sails away if possible, and if not, I'm still fine. And he's going to take 6, and I can still just... yeah, I'll cycle Shred Sails. I can even cycle a Starling development away. He could get this indestructible, of course, which is quite annoying. Divine Arrow. I guess it wouldn't have dodged Divine Arrow, so I guess I'll take it. He'll just kill it. And then eventually I can just get this Omnis Seas to get to 8. But the 1/1s are holding off the rest of these creatures quite nicely. I'm fine blocking the human with the 3-1. I guess I'm fine taking 1 from the Firefinder. Sure. Do I care about cycling this? Like, this can eventually become a 4-4. It doesn't lose abilities, so it can still be a 4-4 double striker, so I don't actually hate it. It can be pretty reasonable in a deck like this, and then I guess we can even lock down the Tiger and just attack for 6. And then he can't really do any good blocks because this has double strike, so if he double blocks or triple blocks, he's still forced to lose, like, most of his creatures. Opponent just quits, wow. I guess he doesn't have a way to deal with the double striker. So surprisingly, so far, haven't met too many opponents with removal spells. The last one had a single copy of Ram Through, and that was it. And we still won that one. Surprisingly, the opponent did seem like he was going to win the reconnaissance mission and getting in all those, drawing a bunch of cards, but little did we know that our token had haste. So 3-0, let's keep this up. And then maybe we can do some Premier Draft Zendikar Rising once we get to 1500 gems. Since I've been losing a lot with Kaladesh Remastered for some reason. Like, I understand the set very well, but it's just the power level, I think, is just so significantly higher than Zendikar. Ooh, turn to Omniseas, yeah, let's do it. And I'm going to say the Starling Development just to cycle for the Omniseas. Like, it does help me hit my land drop, of course, but we can always do this on turn 3 anyways. And then we can just lead with the Omniseas, drawing us a bunch of action. Fire Prophecy, also not bad. If we get land, we can drop the Thieving Otter and start keeping the opponent back on defense. Symbiote, I might want to kill him because it can be pretty scary. So not sure here. Yeah, I guess I don't mind using Fire Prophecy on the Symbiote. And then, what do I bottom? I do want the of One Mind. Maybe just a Starling Development can go to hit my land drop, because it's almost like cycling it. And then, yeah, that's nice, we got our land. And then next turn we can play out the Wolverine. And then eventually give it double strike. But yeah, taking out the Symbiote can be quite important, since it can just gain him a bunch of life and grow his mutate creatures large. Spell Eater Wolverine, that's a pretty funny card. I don't really like it, but it's not bad. Unfortunately, Thieving Otter won't be able to attack past a 1/5, whereas if I give the Spell Eater Wolverine double strike, it's better, so I don't mind just playing it out. Could just draw a bunch of cards next turn and not even care too much. The Brushwhack can pump itself. Shovel is kind of scary. I mean, I could... I don't have a lot of removal, though. But I could copy Shovel. Do I want to copy Shovel? That's a good question. I could also just copy the Wolverine next turn. I guess I need double blue. Never mind. So maybe want to just cast an Of One Mind. And maybe dig for some action to maybe kill the Shovel before it gets out of hand. Because it can just turn all of his kills into cantrips. So Shovel is quite a scary card. Unfortunately, no human. So I think the game plan here is just to cast Of One Mind for an unexciting amount. And then I guess we can eventually just turn 6, play the Lava Serpent or cycle it away. I don't know. I mean, maybe the game plan now is just to get the Omniseas online. Since, yeah, now whenever he kills anything, it's just going to, yeah, it's just going to, net him a card. And I hate how Shovel has Death Touch, so my 8/8 won't be able to get past it. So, might be reasonable now to just definitely not block here. Since I can't really give this double strike, he can just re-roll me or pump, I don't care. Yeah, probably don't need a Lava Serpent at this point, since, I mean, if I'm going to be making 8/8s anyways, I don't really need to give it haste. So maybe fine cycling this, and then I can make an 8/8 anytime I want, so I don't need to worry too much. Ram Through, sure. Guess that nets him a card and gains him some life, so... Alright. Shovel needs to die. So could have maybe been more greedy of the Fire Prophecy. But I think I'll cycle the Lava Serpent, given that I'll have this at 8 next turn. And Rumbling Rock Slide's fantastic, so now I can use a Rumbling Rock Slide on Shovel. And then end of turn we can still make an 8/8. And then I can copy it with the Mythos next turn. So now Shovel's gone. If he does attack, I'm going to be quite suspicious because he could have Blood Curdle. But either way, I think I'm going to activate this to Cavern Whisper, sure. I don't think we need Thieving Otter anymore since it's just kind of low impact. And I think the game plan now is just to win with a bunch of 8/8s. So we're going to let this resolve. I'm going to ditch the Thieving Otter, take 5, and then make an 8/8 end of turn. And then I can even give the 8/8 double strike eventually, so yeah, we'll just make an 8/8. Yeah, we'll just copy the 8/8 and then just attack with the 8/8. Or keep it back. Maybe it's better to just keep it back because I'll be taking 5, I can attack for 8. Yeah, we'll keep it back. I think it's better to just keep it back on defense, and then next turn we can attack for 16 if we want to. Maybe another mutate creature. That would be pretty annoying. So maybe I should have kept the land to discard to the Cavern Whisper. Yeah, maybe I should have kept the land because now I do want a turn where I can give my Raking Claws. I can give my Kraken Raking Claws and okay, Call's annoying. I mean, this is still just a Death Toucher, so I can still double strike this away. So I guess it's just going to be a game stall where we just find our removal spells and whatnot. Keep safe is nice, so I guess we're just going to play defense for the time being and keep everything up. I can even double strike if he decides to attack with Shovel. And if he tries to kill it, then I can use Keep Safe, so... Ooh, Power Ceratops, not bad. Yeah, eventually I think this game will be in our favor because we're just going to make more 8/8s and punch through. Maybe it's fine attacking for 8 and using Raking Claws there, but I do want to have my Keep Safe up. So that's a strange attack. I think he can pump, that's the reason why. And the question is, if he can pump, do I care? He can pump this into, I guess, 6, 7, 8, 9. He can pump this twice into a pretty large threat. Yeah, I guess we'll just... So this is going to be 8, 9, 10, 11. I can maybe give this double strike. I mean, I guess I can double block and then use the Power Ceratops. Maybe I just double block with both of these and he just draws a card and I don't mind. Yeah, let's just do that. Wondering why he's keeping the... Yeah, this is fine. I don't mind this trade. Because the Cavern Whisperer is going to get out of hand if I don't deal with this. And there's no reason to give any of my creatures double strike. It's strange how he ordered this because he could just draw a card off of this. But I think he definitely messed up here. Yeah, I think he ordered it incorrectly because he could have drawn the card and gained some life off of this. But that's fine. We'll just, at least 11/11 is gone. And yeah. I think we'll win the long game, and don't think I need Drannith Stinger, so I'll cycle it, and this can even power up my Omnises. And then Cathartic Reunion, maybe we need it, but I definitely need to keep safe up. So I could just attack here, and then if he blocks with Shovel... Yeah, I don't mind just attacking. If he blocks with Shovel, I'll use Raking Claws. Yeah, we'll use Raking Claws, and we still have Keep Safe up, so giving it Double Strike is quite nice. And then eventually I can maybe keep 2 cards in my hand to discard to Cathartic Reunion. So should have kept my lands in hand. But now the opponent is kind of shields down here. I can start attacking for 8 per turn, and he's going to be in trouble. I'm going to keep the island to discard to Cathartic Reunion, but there's no need for us to play it out. I mean, use it yet because Keep Safe can protect my creatures. Migration Path to cycle. So another black-green mutate deck. This one has a lot more removal, of course. Okay, that's great. Now what we can do is we can use Cathartic Reunion. Discard both of these lands that we don't need. So Cathartic Reunion, definitely 1 copy is always very useful in these types of decks. And then, yeah, we pretty much win the game. So not bad. We finally played an Ikoria deck that doesn't have Zenith Flare, and we're going to get close to 7. So sometimes it's all about just knowing how to build your decks and drafting. Sometimes you just get very unlucky. But this deck I also don't think is like bust or anything. It's definitely a solid deck, but there's definitely a lot more busted decks that we could have ended up with. But I think we navigated the draft quite nicely here, and it's a combination of luck and skill. So I'm quite happy with the results currently. 4-0. The opponent should have maybe kept the Cavern Whisperer back on defense, but he knew he was going to lose the long game since the Omniseas were just going to keep making 8/8s over time. But yeah. Red, blue cycling / spells. Could have been more insane if we had a second Omniseas, but then again, we didn't see any other Fire Prophecies get passed to us, so it wasn't that bad of a result. And then I don't mind keeping this. We have a Rumbling Rock Slide on turn 4. I don't mind cycling away to Frostfell Ambush to start powering up the Wolverine on turn 3, and maybe hitting a relevant 2-drop like a Drannith Stinger or a Fire Prophecy. We'll see. Could cycle away the Lava Serpent. Probably will end of turn since it's going to take us a long time to get there. And then hopefully we can, if he mutates onto the Essence Symbiote, I can eventually just blow it up with a Rumbling Rock Slide and get nice value off of it. For a lid, don't care. Just cycle away the Lava Serpent. Fire Prophecy, not bad. Do I want the Fire Prophecy now? I think we do have a turn 4 Rock Slide lined up, so I don't necessarily need to do it. I feel like the Spider Wolverine is much more important if we get it out there early. And then once we're able to get 6 sorceries and instances into the graveyard, we can start powering this up. And I can even be more greedy next turn by playing out the Pyroceratops, depending on what the opponent does. Might just kill this with a Ram Through, sure. And I guess I'll take 4, and then Pyroceratops can maybe hold the fort. But at least he's not mutating here. And then, yeah, we'll play with Pyroceratops. And then I could Mythos onto it next turn if I want to, or Fire Prophecy plus Frostlinks. Furlid can eventually just chump and make a land, but the Pyroceratops does have Trample. So, we'll see what he tries here. Thieving Otter might just want to kill that with the Fire Prophecy ASAP before he tries anything. So, yeah, I don't mind just... I mean, maybe the Fire Prophecy is better on the Essence Symbiote, not sure. But I'm definitely going to play a land. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. Keeping up Fire Prophecy for the Thieving Otter. Or tapping it down. I mean, we do have Rumbling Rock Slide to answer later. But I feel like Rumbling Rock Slide is better to answer the Symbiote. So... really interesting decisions. Maybe what we want to do is we want to tap down the Symbiote and then attack with the 2/3. And if he decides to double block, we can Fire Prophecy and trample over. And then if not, we can just use the Fire Prophecy to take out the Thieving Otter. He's not blocking, so I'll just use it now before he untaps. And he doesn't have... I don't think there's any pump spells for a single green and red, and we can discard an island, so that's pretty nice. And then next turn we'll have Keep Safe. We can get him for 3. He can activate the Furlid, but it's still going to trample over, so not a bad turn of events. We managed to use all of our mana, and then we have a 3/4 that's beating down. Okay, Gust of Wind to bounce it back. Sure, I guess I'll just replay it. It's a bit of a setback, but not too much. So we'll just attack for 2. And then say go. If he mutates on the Essence Symbiote, I don't mind just using Rock Slide on it. And hopefully the toughness isn't so high that it dodges it. I just want to keep growing this Paraceratops with our instances and sorcery, so I feel like it's more important to play it. And another Gust of Wind, so he's just going to buy himself more time, maybe find more land drops. He can mutate onto his Migratory Greathorn, but there is none, so... A 1 mine to draw 2 for 3 mana, okay. Okay, I guess I'll play a... I guess I can cycle first. Don't think I need the Dranav Stinger at this point, since there's no cycling creatures in my hand. Land is good, so I'll play it, and then we can play the Paraceratops and attack for 2. If he wants to use more Gust of Winds, that's okay. He's the one that's being reactive. Capture Sphere, okay. Alright, alright. I guess I can still maybe Mythos onto the Paraceratops. It does dodge whatchamacallit, Thieving Otter is quite good too. So maybe I can the Mythos and Forbidden Friendship isn't bad, since I will be able to start growing the Mythos of Aluna. The Thieving Otter also isn't too bad, but I think I want to use my Mythos now, or save it. I think I'll use it now just to grow my Paraceratops, and then have a 2/3 that can start growing, and then I'll attack for 2 here. If he has anything, I'll just use the Keep Safe, and this will start growing too, and I get to net a card, so don't hate this. And I still have the Rumbling Rock Slide to deal with any bombs that he manages to get out. Godzilla. Okay, that's going to be quite large. Don't know if I can take out Godzilla. The On the Seas might be too small here, so yeah, this is not going to be easy. Might just need to cycle the On the Seas, not sure. Yeah, but taking 11 next turn is going to be pretty awful for me, so I guess I'll just cycle the On the Seas, or just cast it. Is there a chance I can make an 8/8? Probably not at this point, so maybe I just cycle it here. Could maybe play it to grow. Okay, Raking Claws, maybe that can take out Godzilla, but it might be a little bit too late. Not sure. So I can 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe I can just put everything in front and use Raking Claws to take out the Godzilla. It's not very good. Or I can just chump. But I'm pretty much going to die. Yeah, I hate to say, but I think we need to block with everything here. So this is 4, that's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11. So maybe something like this, and then we can use the Raking Claws on the 3/4 to maybe trade off for this. Yeah, maybe should have saved the save some of our stuff for, save the Mythos to copy the Godzilla, but if he has any single removal like Ram Through, Fire Prophecy, I'm pretty much done for here. So I think I need to go for this, as much as I hate it. He probably has a removal here. Yeah, it's just GG's. Yeah. Not going to beat an 11/11 Trampler. So our first loss, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. If he didn't play Godzilla, I think we would have been okay. But it was kind of close. If he didn't have Godzilla, I think we would have been pretty far, and we would be able to just grow our Paraceratops over time, keep up the Keep Safe, and win that way. But sometimes you never know what the opponent's going to play, so... Opening hand, well, Omniscience on 2, and we can even cycle a Draenei Stinger, so I don't hate it. Or we can play out the Draenei Stinger. Probably will end up cycling it just to increase the speed up the Omniscience, or not, we'll see. But yeah, turn to Omniscience into cycling Lava Serpent, Fire Prophecy. This hand looks pretty awesome. We're on the draw though, better on the play, but I think it's definitely keep. And this is another good opening hand where we have both our mana. Well, Serrated Scorpion's a bit annoying, so might need to play the Draft Stinger to block it. I guess I'll just start. I'll take 2, which isn't a bunch, but this is a pretty annoying card. He could just have some ways to sacrifice this, of course. So blue-black is usually the flash deck, but again, you can make the case for mutating. So yeah, this is not bad. I don't mind just taking 3, and then we can use the Fire Prophecy. I'm probably going to use the Fire Prophecy now. The argument for using it now is because, reason for using it now, I mean, is because whatchamacallit, he can get a discount for mutating, so this is fine, and then we can play out the land to gain a little bit of life, and then next turn we can even Draenei Stinger or play the Wolverine. Yeah, I don't think the Draenei Stinger is going to accomplish much, so I think I'm going to play out the Wolverine and then cycle away the Draenei Stinger end of turn. And then we can eventually just maybe tap down the Bushmeat Poacher and get in for a ton of damage. Guess he's going to get in for 2, I don't really care. 2 damage is nothing. And then the Frostlings can maybe trade off for the second Frostlings. But the Bushmeat Poacher is pretty annoying, I have to admit. And the Heron isn't bad. Do I want to mutate the Heron now? Maybe mutate the Heron later, and then I can play the Frostlings, keep the Bushmeat Poacher tapped. Play land, and then cycle 1 Lava Serpent, or just play it next turn. Splashing for green, pretty interesting. Maybe I do want to just cycle it away. Yeah, the trade isn't bad. This can be pretty annoying later. And then if I do hit a land drop, I can still just play out a 5/5. And then eventually get an 8/8 out. So, okay, Chittering Harvester, pretty annoying. So it's kind of it's not good to mutate if he's planning to mutate with the Chittering Harvester. So probably not going to mutate here. The Lava Serpent I can't cast. I could just kill the Bushmeat Poacher. Maybe it's fine just playing out the Heron and just attacking for 3. Which seems okay, and then... or keep up the Lava Serpent to cycle away. But I don't have enough mana to do it. Pretty interesting choices. Yeah, I'll just play out the Heron without mutate. Just as a 3/4 flyer that can block off the 2/4, attack for 3. And then if he decides to mutate the Chittering Harvester, we can still sack like the Spell Eater Wolverine, which I don't mind. So he's probably going to mutate here, and then which one do I rather have, the Flyer or the Spell Eater Wolverine? Probably the Flyer, since the 3/2 can't really attack past the 2/4. And then we can Rock Slide away the Chittering Harvester once we get a land drop. And I'm going to do it now, just in case. And then I can attack for 3 and ambush him with the 8/8 on the way back if he decides to attack. You can even Mythos and hopefully he doesn't top deck a removal spell. And he does. Okay. Right, I guess now it's just Lava Serpent time. We're just going to start attacking with the Lava Serpent to try to maybe outrace him. And then we'll go that way. And then we can attack for 8. The thing has Menace, so there's no reason to stay back with the 3/4. We're just going to try to outrace him. Top deck Blood Curdle was pretty nice to answer the Omniscience, not going to lie. And I can just copy my Lava Serpent next turn and just attack still. Pouncing Shore Shark, pretty annoying. Yeah, I guess I'll just Mythos here. I think it makes sense to copy the Lava Serpent since that's haste. He can double block, but that's fine. Maybe I'm fine trading off for the pouncing Shore Shark. Could have also just played the Forbidden Friendship to get the extra damage. But the Shore Shark definitely has to go because it has Mutate. And we're still getting in for 8. So just to not look stupid, I think I'm going to hold on to the Forbidden Friendship until next turn. And going to keep the Mountain and I guess I can keep the 2. There's an argument for keeping 2 cards for Cathartic Reunion. But yeah, he definitely needs to maybe sacrifice something to gain a bunch of life with the Push Me Poacher, but we got him. Not bad, another black-green deck, but this one splash with a splash of blue. And currently 5-1, so just 2 more wins and we're able to get our 7 and then have enough for maybe a potential Premier Draft. So let's do it. Right, Omniseas, well, I mean, I think the AI might have rigged our opening start because it's not often you always get Omniseas on turn 2. So this is the perfect start, basically. Luckily, this wasn't a Flutterfox. Otherwise, I might have to kill it immediately on turn 2. But now we're able to get some value with the Omniseas. And then we can even cycle away Dran of Stinger or Raking Claws next turn. I think I'm fine cycling away Dran of Stinger. Don't really think I need to start pinging the opponent with it. So this is just going to grow out of hand. The Garrison Cat is just a random creature he can mutate onto. Checkpoint Officer is pretty annoying. Could play the Forbidden Friendship. Maybe I'm fine just cycling the Raking Claws to hit my land drop. Maybe that's okay. And taking 2. And then we can even cycle the Drown Stinger end of turn to play our Pyroceratops eventually. Perimeter Sergeant, I don't mind killing the Fire Prophecy next turn. Yeah, I'll take 2, and then I'll cycle away the Drown Stinger. This just speeds up the clock for the Omniseas, and we're definitely going to Fire Prophecy away the Perimeter Sergeant. However, I could be greedy here and just play the Pyroceratops. Maybe that's fine, since I can still block off the rest of these 2 creatures and force them to use this mana. So yeah, I guess I don't mind taking 3, and then I guess this still blocks off the Checkpoint Officer and the Garrison Cat, so we can still take it slow. Next turn we can Fire Prophecy into like Forbidden Friendship perhaps. The question is, what do we discard? Or into Mythos here, and be even more greedy. Like, is that insane? I guess I'll be taking 6. He'll be using the Checkpoint Officer, but I'll be only taking 4. Which is okay, and then... yeah, it's still okay. Could play out the Frostlinks. Maybe I just want to Mythos now just to start growing these Pyroceratops. I think that's fine. I think I'm fine playing out land 2 and I can attack for 3. And I'm fine taking 3 again, and then next turn we can Frostlinks and Fire Prophecy, and then grow these Pyroceratops to like a million counters. Or I could have saved the Mythos for potential Omniseas, but this isn't bad. I don't mind him. Now I'm happy happy that I saved the Fire Prophecy for the Grim Dancer, and hopefully he doesn't have some sort of annoying whatchamacallit. I mean, I could also tap it down, but I think it's better to just nuke it. Frostlinks is not bad. I think Forbidden Friendship can go. Like, it does power out my Paraceratops, but honestly, I don't think that matters. And then the Spell Eater Wolverine can attack for 1,000,000, so I don't mind getting for 7 here. And then next turn I should have my Omniseas active, so I should have some pretty large Krakens coming in. This is going to be a double striker, so he does need to keep most of his stuff back on defense. I can tap down the Perimeter Sergeant. Or I guess I can also just tap down like something else here. I mean, that's fine. I'll be taking 4, and then I mean, the opponent doesn't seem to care. I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like the opponent seems to care at all, so now I can play land. I can Frostlinks down the... I guess if I Frostlinks down the Day Squad Marshal, what will happen? He's going to chump with the 1/1 token. I still make an 8/8. I can still play out the Thieving Otter. Yeah, I don't mind just attacking with all here. And then I still have the Thieving Otter to chump block, and I can still make an 8/8 at instant speed, so it's not that bad. So I'm hoping he just doesn't have the extra damage. He could have like a spontaneous flight, which can kill me, but so be it. Spontaneous flight would work on the Day Squad Marshal. I don't have any anti-air, so it's going to result in a death anyway, so I can't really play around it. This is okay. I'm fine if he moves to combat, because I'm not going to use this before he taps the checkpoint officer. I'm going to use this once he attacks, so then he doesn't get to tap down my 8/8. Yeah, he knows about the Omniseas, so even if he kills any of these creatures, I still have an 8/8 back on defense. So it's going to be a pretty difficult victory for the opponent. The Bushmeat Poacher can block effectively. But we'll make an 8/8. I think we attack with all, since these also have trample. So now what? If I attack with all, what happens? He can chump here. He can... Yeah, I think I need to attack with all, otherwise he can just untap with the Day Squad Marshal. So I think we need to do it. Yeah, I think he's dead if he taps, because these also have trample, which is great. So I guess he's playing the chump, so he can chump here, chump here, chump here. He's still dead. He's still dead anyways, so... Unfortunately, he also needs 1 generic to gain some life to activate the Bushmeat Poacher, but he has Summoning Sickness, so I think it's game over, because if he chumps here, blocks here, it's still taking 4. So... that one was close. If the opponent had Spontaneous Flight, or a way to give his creature flying, that would have been really awful for us. So like a Patagia Tiger wouldn't have won him the game, but it would have been pretty awful for us. But we managed to get there. And then yeah, let's move on to the final boss. Get our nice 7 victory, and then maybe do some Zendikar Rising Premier Draft. So we don't have to get beaten up doing Kaladesh Remastered, even though I gotta admit, it's not a bad set to draft. It's pretty fun. It's just that, again, there's a lot of bomby cards, and overall, like, some of the mechanics aren't heavily emphasized. Revolt, for instance, isn't amazing unless you're black-white with hidden stockpile, but even without hidden stockpiles, you're just gonna go wide and fabricate. And then, yeah, the Gear Hooks are pretty busted too. Green is just incredibly powerful in that set as well. So everyone's going to try to fight over green to get the mana fixing and the big creatures that can dodge Chandra's Power Helix, or ways that can punish 1 toughness. There's also some pretty broken vehicles like the Untethered Express and the console Skyship. Whereas the bombs in in Zenith Rising do require a lot more build around, so I don't hate this. We can cycle the Frostfall Ambush, maybe hit our third land drop for Spider Wolverine, and we've been running 15 lands, so we've been doing pretty nice, at least so far. So I don't mind just cycling Frostfall Ambush. No reason to cast it. Think about casting this since this is 5 mana, and that's going to take forever with a hand like this. Just want to hit my land drops consistently and cast my Spider Wolverine with Double Strike on turn 3. Okay, I mean, I do have my Spider Wolverine set up. I could just Cathartic Reunion, though, maybe. Is that insane? Cathartic Reunion away Starling Developments, and then the land? I mean, that's not insane, I don't think, since I will have 2 instances and sorceries in the graveyard, so it doesn't seem that bad. And this cycles itself anyway, so I don't care. And then hopefully we should be able to get a land off the top, and we did. So, yeah, I think that was a risk worth doing. So now we can just drop the Wolverine on turn 3, and they'll have Double Strike. You got the Essence Scatter, but I'm not playing around it this early. Next turn we can Pyro Helix, or even Gift Flying to the Spider Eater Wolverine. Trumpeting Gnar, I think we might have to kill, because he's just going to go off with it, so that needs to die. If that thing ever mutates, it's just going to get out of hand and make a bunch of 3/3s all day, so fine just going like this, and then we can even mutate onto the Spider Wolverine next turn, or set up maybe like Paraceratops, maybe, that's even better. Play land, I guess we could cycle the Draft Stinger first, but if he's playing the mutate on the Trumpeting Gnar, I can eventually just fly over with the Dreamtail Heron, and that's okay. And then we'll just cycle away the Draft Stinger end of turn, get in for another 6. Or I can just keep it, I guess, and we can just cycle it. Okay, that's annoying. So that's going to start blocking my Spider Wolverine, but it does result in a trade, perhaps. I guess not really. I guess attack for 3. That's a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit questionable, I think. Okay, so what can we do now? I guess we can Shred Sails and kill this, and then attack, and then that's lethal. So I mean, yeah, I guess we'll just do that. Take out the Dreamtail Heron. Throw the Ceratops, and he's forced to chomp, otherwise it's lethal. So yeah, not bad. And that's just GG's. So yeah, not a difficult final boss, not a difficult draft. Everyone seems to be more focused on the mutate decks more than anything else if you do these quick drafts, but I assure you that cycling is definitely the most powerful archetype in this set, and definitely something you should lean towards more often than not. The mutate decks are more fun, don't get me wrong. There's a lot more ways to go 3 colors in this set. And there's a lot of nice. There's some other. There's a lot of great mutate creatures in all the 5 color. For all the 5 colors in this game. But overall, mutate is still slow. It still leaves you for 2-for-1s like that. Like you just saw there, the Shredded Sails just took out the 3/4, so that was a pretty nasty 2-for-1. So it was definitely, it's definitely questionable going mutate in the set unless you open up a bomb like, again, Nethroi, Apex of Death, or Snapdax. I wouldn't mind forcing kind of the mutate deck. But yeah, I've stated it like a million times, always lean towards cycling in this set. And then you should never have any issues given how powerful it is to enable and how easy it is to get payoffs at common and uncommon. But yeah, overview of this deck, 15 lands. The general rule of thumb for cutting lands and cycling, of course, is for every 1-mana cycler you want, for every 3 1-mana cycler you want to cut a land, and then we have like triple Draft Stinger, so that already counts as a land cut, Frostveil Ambush, and the, I guess the Starling Developments plus I guess one of these 2-mana cyclers do count as 1-mana cyclers, and we also had we don't mind curving out on turn 4 and 5, so yeah, it's not a bad deck. It's not broken by any means, but it was very strong and very solid. In terms of removal, we had a Rumbling Rock Slide, Fire Prophecy, Great Shred Sails can have its moments against Flyers, even though we only used it on that one last game and nowhere else, and we didn't use it in any other matchups, since this is quite situational against Flyers, and there's not too many powerful artifacts in the set, other than the rare Godzilla, the Golem, the Gem Golem, whatever you call it. The Raking Claws can serve as some sort of fight trick / removal. Starling Development can be a fine pump trick. I guess Frostful Ambush to a lesser extent can tap things down. and then I guess Frostfire Ambush can also tap things down. So yeah, not a bad deck. Reasonable curve. There was a couple of games where we had Omniscience on turn 2, and that was insanely busted. And yeah, it was just basically a blue-red kind of like a tempo-oriented deck where you're just trying to play a combination of aggro and control with cards that get pumped that have built-in bonuses whenever you use like an instant or sorceries like the Spell Eater Wolverine and the Power Ceratops. So it allows you to be aggressive with these types of creatures as well as defensive with our removal and our tap tricks and whatnot. So yeah, it was on a bad deck. Managed to get the 7 with it, so quite happy. And then I think we're going to start cracking some packs. So let's get this going, claim our prize, and let's pretend we're drafting Ikoria Lair Behemoths. And yeah, I can draft a Premier Draft Zendikar, so probably going to make a second video on that, and then hopefully I can get a nice 7. Pack 1, pick 1, Ikoria Lair Behemoths. Draft Stinger is quite good, but Porky Parrot could have a lot more potential. I mean, usually, generally speaking, Porky Parrot isn't amazing unless you can mutate it onto a Death Touch creature, but if we can take this early, we can build some sort of black-red sacrifice deck with a bit of mutate synergy going on, and the Porky Parrot can get out of hand if you can mutate this onto, for example, a Boot Nipper, or like you can, or any creature with Death Touch. So Porky Parrot has generally a lot more upside, and the 4-mana 3/4 isn't that bad of a body. Not a big fan of the Mentor, building around Mentor, since again the allied colors combinations aren't too emphasized in this set, but it's definitely possible. You can just end up drafting a bunch of Vigilance creatures, and the Keensight Mentor can definitely get out of hand. But most of the Vigilance creatures aren't amazing. Like, for example, the Gore, the Pharaoh Cats, I forgot the Savai Cat, the 1/4, 2-mana 1/4 Vigilance isn't great. The Gore, I don't want to call it Gormon, it's the Gorok. I forgot the 3-mana 2/4 Vigilance also isn't great, so I wouldn't first pick a Keensight Mentor, but if I saw nothing but a bunch of, if I saw like multiple Keensight Mentors, or the Alert Heat Bonder, the 3-mana 2/4 later, I wouldn't mind kind of pivoting towards that white-green Vigilance direction, but again, white-green's an allied color combination, so it's not great. I guess black-red is also an allied color combination, but it's not really a Mentor theme in this set. Since the black-red signpost uncommon is kind of wants you to draft some sort of menace deck, whereas black-red in this set is actually part of the Sacrifice Mardu wedge. So yeah, Porky Parrot I think has the highest upside. Like, Draft Stinger is at common, so you can usually pick up one later, even if you end up in cycling. Pacifism, fine removal spell, however, it does have some issues. It doesn't stop cycling creatures. It doesn't stop mutate creatures, since they can just start mutating still and getting value off of it. But it does lock down large creatures, and that's a pretty good removal spell, so not against Pacifism, but probably take Porky Parrot, pack 1, pick 1. Probably just take the Splendor Mare as an excellent cycling creature. I like the fact that you can just cycle this and give something lifelink, especially like a Prickly Marmoset that can totally get out of hand. And it's just like a 3-mana 3/3 lifelink, which is a really relevant body. Can if it manages to get in even a single attack, it can basically set the opponent back on ahead in the race. A 3-mana 3/3 can gain you a good amount of life. So big fan of the Splendor Mare, especially in the red-white cycling decks. Huntmaster Liger, unfortunately, the go wide mechanic theme is involving mostly humans, like cards like Night Squad Commando and Day Squad Marshal, so it's not often that you're going to mutate and go wide. Usually red-white is looking to do cycling in this set. I mean, there's a kind of a niche like red-white go wide theme in this set with Regal Cats, but honestly, I would avoid going red-white go wide mutate, since again, most of the go-wide creatures that you're looking to play are going to mostly be humans. I guess there's Forbidden Friendship that makes 1 beast token, but that's pretty much it. But I mean, if you can mix like a combination of like humans and non-humans and go-wide, I guess it can be okay. But overall, like again, cycling is a better mechanic in this set, and there's just not too many humans in the mutate. I mean, there's too many humans in the go wide archetype that is not even worth just mutating and getting yourself 2-for-1 pretty horribly. Best common, probably like the of One Mind. Night Squad Commando if you're in the black-white humans, or the red-black sacrifice decks can be pretty decent since it can make some tokens. But yeah, another nice quick draft video, and maybe I can fire off another Premier Draft Zendikar Rising and go on from there. But in the meantime, stay tuned for more videos, and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.